Hey babes, my Bluetooth on my laptop not working. Car mangled its spot. I'm kind of losing it. It's all right. I just got over the stomach bug that I've had for the last couple of days. I don't think my son, he has autism. I don't think he's ever seen me get sick before. And we use like a lot of safe hands, safe body, stay safe, that type of language. I was in the bathroom. TMI, I was dry heaving, okay? And my kid didn't know what the fuck to do. And he was like, Mom, be safe, be safe, be safe, Mom. I was trying to comfort him while also trying to fight my fucking gut. It was quite the experience. I want to talk about how we just recently got back from seeing MGK. We had a very long discussion about life and morals and all sorts of stuff in the car. And my kid is a fucking genius. Oh, the sirens are coming. BRB girl. My car got in a hit and run. Somebody hit my car and ran the fuck off. I'm sure they drove. I'm sure they never. Anyway, yeah, so hit and run. So it's been really fun. When you open my car door, the plastic goes and it sounds low key like a, but we're surviving. I was sick the last couple of days. We went to the MGK concert. That's a whole story in itself because my kid is a menace. He's too smart. If he wants to do it, he's gonna do it. Going on the road trip made me face a lot of fucking emotions. And I was like, I was not ready to unpack all of this. Like, goddamn. But here we are. We survived. So Thanksgiving break comes and we're watching a movie on the couch. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I'm dozing off because it's 6 a.m. Why are we up at 6 a.m. on our day off? I don't know. Here we are. I look over and I notice my son keeps pointing my phone at my face, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Grab the phone. He has $900 worth of floor seats to MGK in Nebraska the next day. I was like, "Excuse you, first and foremost, we cannot do that." We grounded him from electronics for the rest of the day, and I planned our trip. I used to always ask him, "Do you want to go to a concert?" And he would say, "No, I would need to go and have break." He couldn't be in there the whole time. The thought of that was overstimulating to him. Actually, we took these headphones and he did pretty good. The headphones, 10 out of 10. I won't go again without them. So he puts $900 worth of floor seats in my cart. The only reason it didn't work is because he was trying to pay with Apple Pay, and I just got a new debit card. So that's the only thing that saved me. I didn't update my Apple Pay. So I ground him, and I'm like, heck no. Later that day, I'm like, what? Let's write a Christmas list and a birthday list. My poor kid is a December baby. And he's like, I only wanted those tickets. And I was like, well, you have to ask to get those tickets. I don't know if I could take you now because you didn't ask. You just tried to go behind my back and get them. He was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, that could have been really not great for mom. So let's not do that again. And he's like, okay, whatever. Okay, so I get the trip planned and my mom starts freaking out. She's like, there's a storm. And I was like, whatever, girl. I'm a South Dakota girl. It's fine. Everything is fucking fine. No. That was crazy, that storm. It was 8.5 hours of white knuckling the steering wheel, and we were late for the concert and we missed a lot of it. And that shit sucked, but at least we got there. There were semis in the ditch, fucking vans wobbling around. I felt like I was playing Frogger the entire drive, and that was nuts. The whole time, my son kept saying, "Is this turbulence?" When we finally got into the concert, the first song got to see them play was Forgive Me Too, and now he just is obsessing. I woke him up the next morning and was like, let's get ready to go. We're gonna go drive to CMGK. He was like, what? He was so excited that he said it was like Halloween to him. That was kind of funny. So we get there and Theo's having the best fucking time. He is jamming out the entire time. He had to sit down a few times, kept taking his headphones on and off. He kept holding the girl's hand next to him. And then when we were walking to the car, he's like, yeah, I held that girl's hand. And I'm just like, I know you did, dude. It's not. And I kept apologizing. And she's like, no, it's fine. He is the greatest. So then we get to the merch line afterwards. And I was like, do you want a shirt? Yep. Okay, cool. We get in the line. And she's like, can I see your phone real quick? Sure. He starts blasting Lost Americana really loud, and he's holding it up like this, and he's dancing with them. And then other people start dancing and singing. There was a little group around us that were singing. The biggest takeaway here is that Theo is the greatest person to go to a concert with. He is constantly being everyone up. He reminds me of Kanye West when Rihanna was performing, whatever award show that was, and nobody was standing, and Kanye West got up and he made everybody stand up, and he's like, "Come on, it's fucking Rihanna, stand up." That would be Theo at all times. Merch line for the bathroom, in the venue. He must be hype at all times because we are MGK, and that is top tier. So watching Theo, that is so healing for my inner child. It was insane. Watching him though was more than a great memory for me. It was nostalgic because when he was a little kid, he's only just now started to be more verbal and able to communicate his needs and wants or opinions. I found out that his favorite day of the week is Wednesday, and I thought that was funny because that's my favorite day of the week. Just little things like that. I'm starting to learn. So before, when he would communicate, he just connected really well through music. He communicated with it, like his big emotions. He would take his little tablet if I would, tell him like that he couldn't do something or just like whatever little toddler stuff fits over. Who knows? Sometimes it's that I gave them the green cup instead of the blue one. When he would get mad, he would take his communication tablet and it was just would say mad, 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 mad over and over and over again. Then he would go in his room. I used to have an iPod Touch, and he would take it and go in his room and listen to Corn at full volume. I would have to fight not to laugh. I had to be like, don't slam the door, or be nice, or whatever I would say. But really, I wanted to laugh my fucking ass off because what do you mean where did you learn this? So after going to the concert, when we were in the car on the way back home and the weather was nice, we got to drive normal. Like, so, oh my God. So we were in the car and he, he doesn't really ever like, if things aren't like super important to him, he doesn't always communicate them. Like, he's not just like telling me his opinions on everything. It has to be an extreme opinion. Either I hate this or I love this. He goes, questions. And I was like, okay, I'll answer. And it's important to know also that I've been listening to Eminem since I was 9 years old. So Theo had to raise on that shit. Theo knows Eminem so well that he even knows Infinite. And if you don't know that song, you're not on the same wavelength here. So Theo, this is a big deal for him because he uses music to start talking and hears words. He used to love Logic. Then he went through a phase where he listened to Drake. Then it was Kanye, but I didn't let him listen to anything after probably 2010. We've always listened to Eminem, and then he just has random songs that he likes. He likes 70s soft rock a lot, and knows a lot about that era. He sings those songs sometimes. Yeah, he's very diverse in his music taste, to be honest. He had a babysitter that listens to MGK, and her parents are also MGK. And so the fact that Theo liked Eminem, I could feel the on her. Like I could feel the ick. Like I just grossed her out. Like she was like, "What? Ooh, oh, okay." And I just thought that was funny because we were the opposite. Theo got into MGK, and I didn't realize I never listened to him. My brain was like, ah, sorry, lame. I think you're annoying. Why? I don't know. But I never really gave it much thought. So, sorry. I do watch a lot of SNL, and I am a Pete Davidson fan. So yeah, I guess I did consume MGK's content, like videos of him, I guess, like in interviews or whatever. But yeah, I didn't really pay it much attention more than that. And then Theo started listening to him, and that was kind of like a big deal for him to be like, Mom, I like MGK. He was kind of stressed about it. Like, just so you know, I do like MGK now. And I was like, that's okay. You can like him. Who cares? Like whatever you want, dude. And even if people, what does it matter? For a while, he liked both. And then I noticed little by little, he was like, no, we're not doing that. And then if it came on the radio, he would change it. Oh, dang. If it came on my phone in the car, change it. And I just started noticing more and more that was like a whole thing. So I was like, okay, fair. Yeah, he's an MGK fan. What do we do? So this was a couple years ago, and then I started getting a soft spot because he was on Bunny's podcast and he was smoking a cigarette. People were like, he's not even sober and he's smoking a cigarette. And they were so mad in these comments, just as on the fan page. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, how awful. And he follows his fan page. And I'm looking at some of the videos and he's sharing them, he's interacting. I'm like, oh no, he sees people just being mean as fuck in the comments about being sober. I've talked about my sobriety. I was like, damn, that would make me want to go crawl in a hole somewhere. So I just felt bad. And it humanized him a lot, actually. And then he covered the chicks, and I was like, okay, that's adorable. So that's kind of how that happened. I went from liking Eminem to MGK. But here was the nail in the coffin. So we're leaving. We're about 2, 3 hours into our drive. And I look over at my son and he goes, Mom, I got a question. And I said, okay, that's fine. What's up? And he goes, Eminem is a bully. And I was like, oh, I think you maybe listened to too much Rap Devil. And he goes, oh, no, no, no. He had this, he had it bookmarked, the interview that Eminem did with Sway, where he was like, what made you diss Machine Gun Kelly? Was it the tweet? And as soon as my son put that shit on, my heart dropped into my fucking ass. I was like, oh, I already know what you're gonna say. Oh my god. I just did my last episode. I just said this about Taylor Swift that I felt like she was crunching down. I knew what he was gonna say immediately because Eminem's answer was, it's actually much pettier than that. I didn't like that he said that he was his own top 10. Okay, let's talk about it, Theo. He just looked at me like, you heard this and you don't think I'm mean? Or I said, do you think he should have said that he liked other rappers? I said, you can think that's not necessarily my opinion, but just playing devil's advocate here, or just showing you the other side, baby. I don't know. Oh, I don't even know. It's making me uncomfortable. So, because he's looking at me like my morals are trash. He's like, Mom. He goes, a lot of rappers say that. And I'm like, they're the best. And he said, yeah. And then he goes, Logic always says, I'm the greatest rapper alive. And I said, yeah, he does say that a lot. Doesn't a lot of people say that? You're right. And like goes, Lil Wayne says it. I was like, okay. He's like, Jay-Z says it. He just starts going off and just listing all these rappers. He, and then I'm like, okay, I get it. Everybody said that. And I was like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Agreed, honestly. Because if you don't think you're the best, why are you doing it? And he's like, right. And he brought his receipt. I should have known he was going to bring receipts because around the time that he was on Buddy's podcast, I also told Theo, I think I'm starting to like MGK. Kid goes into full, we have to sit down and listen to an album, Mom. This is the one you're going to like. And he shows me Hotel Diablo. Child, what? First track comes out, and he's like, this is a hula hooping song. I used to hula hoop and do performances. A circ group. And I did some burlesque with hula hooping, kind of my shit. And so I thought that was really adorable that that was where his mind went. First, then Pete comes on the album and he goes, it's Pete, Mom. You're SNL guy. I liked the song. I think I'm okay. Like whenever Theo would listen to it, and then that came on, and he goes, that's on here. It's on here. And then he just got it. He just knew my vibe. I'm very proud of him. But he made me listen to it track by track, no skips. I make him do that when the new albums come out that I want to listen to. It's what we do. So he made me do that with Hotel Diablo, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm an MGK fan now. What do you want from me? He pulls up that interview and he makes his argument. And this is when I realized maybe I am raising Robert Kardashian reincarnated. I'm not sure. Except for opposite. He's like, Your Honor, a murder did happen. And my client is guilty AF. But watching him make this argument and really just like get this off his chest, it bothered him. I get it though. I have an Eminem tattoo. I have his lyrics on my body. I get it, I do get it. But it was really funny. The only thing I could think of that I did as a kid that would have felt the same is maybe when I told my conservative parents I'm not a Republican, I'm definitely a Democrat. But even then, I'm pretty sure they knew. I mean, right? So anyway, moral of the story, this was watching him feel safe enough to explain to me what he actually likes and tell me personal things about himself and his opinion. That's hard to do as a kid. And I felt so honored, to be honest. When we were in the merch line, I asked him if he wanted a shirt, and he said yes. No, he didn't. So I got myself this sweatshirt, and Theo got a shirt. And they only had mediums left. This should have been my first fucking clue. I said, "Is like a big one. It'll just be a little bit too big. Is that all right?" That kid has grown so much. He just started to glare up at my eyebrow, and now he is taller than me. And I said, "Well, it's your shirt. I don't care. Wear it however you want, dude." And he goes, "Well, I guess I don't care then." And I was like, "Okay, sure. Medium's great." We get to the car, and he said, "That's yours. Thank you." And I was like, "Oh, I bought it for you." And he goes, "No, it's free." Free? What do you mean? He thought that once you left the concert, you and you get something to take home. I don't know. He said, "Well, Merry Christmas. Thank you." I got an MGK t-shirt for Christmas. Thank you, Theo. This was very healing for me to watch him just be so involved and excited because I didn't think we were ever going to get to go to concerts. He literally was like, "Bro, you would have to take me outside multiple times. I would need lots of breaks. The whole thing just feels overstimulated, even talking about it." When he put those tickets in the cart, I knew we were going. The only concerts that we really get here are like Morgan Wallen. I swear to God, I think he's come here multiple times. No, thank you. We really don't get much here. So since we don't get that much here, we just don't have a lot of options. It would have to be a trip, you know? This was super healing because when I was a kid, my dad moved states away when I was 6 years old, probably. And he, when I got older, would use concerts to say, if you lived here, he lived in Phoenix. So all the shows, all the concerts go to Phoenix. All the tours go to Phoenix. I'm shit out of luck up here in South Dakota with our Morgan Wallen concert. We just don't get a lot. We do during the Sturgis Rally, but even then, it's certain genre, like older rock bands usually is who comes here for the rally. So he used to say that shit all the time, like, "Oh, if you lived here, I would take you to this concert. If you lived here, fuck you, dude." He's the worst. I don't even talk to him anymore. My first crush when I was a little kid was Tommy Lee, and he went to Molly Crew. Next day, called me and was like, "Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I wish you could have come, but you don't live here." He literally moved to Arizona and got obsessed with making money. He was awful. He would parade his life in front of me all the time and say, "Well, I wish you lived here." That was his choice, not my choice. I was a child. Just having those concerts withheld from me, it was so healing to watch Theo the best time ever. Even him pointing out different things. Oh yeah, and we had to listen to each district. Oh my God. He told me after Kill Shot, that is cringe. I was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, Eminem has other good songs." And he goes, "Mom, what's the rules?" And I was like, "The rules." And he goes, battle." And I'm like, and he goes, "It's face to face. Only one shot." And he started laughing so hard. Ever since he got it out of his system, has not taken his foot off of Eminem's neck. it's just been that's just been like super healing to watch banter back and forth with me and just like get to go and have a good time seeing his first concert. I did end up winning third row tickets to see Molly Crew when they came to South Dakota, third row, and that was karma. They got. Thank you, universe. Fuck Brian for life. The worst thing was when I was 13 or 14 years old, Cher came to South Dakota, and she is my idol. I love her. She is a goddess in my brain. I don't even think she's human. He doesn't really know that. He liked that. The first CD he ever let me pick out was Green Day Dookie. That was the first CD I ever had. He bought it, and then I wanted to take it with me so I could listen to it in my Walkman. And he said, no, that's our CD. So I'm going to keep it so we can listen to it in the car together. My mom was like, fuck that. We're going to buy it. Let's go. When I went home and told her that, she was like, we're not playing that shit. So that was the first CD I ever owned. But no thanks to Brian. Like, so that was just something he did. He didn't know that I liked Cher. He didn't pay attention. When I was a little girl, I wanted to grow my hair out until I could sit on it because that's how long Cher's hair was. Duh, I had to have Cher hair. And I would make my grandparents and my mom and my uncles sit down in the living room. I would stand in front of the TV, wear a robe, and always do an outfit reveal because that's what Cher did on the Sunny and Cher show. And I would sing songs and shit. So when she came to South Dakota, my mom wanted to take me, but I was in Arizona at the time. And my dad made it seem like me and my mom were like plotting his death or something because he was like, you were just on the phone with your mom, cooking up a plan to go home early. I knew you were going to do this. You knew I was going to do this. I never had done that in my life. Anytime my dad had summer visits, I went and just was there in the summer. If you don't know that I like Cher as my father, we have nothing left to do. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy never came to any of my dance recitals or competitions. I started dancing when I was 5. So, like, what are we talking about? I traveled to places to go do this shit. Never once, dude. Never once. So he said, you don't even like Cher, so why are you trying to go home early? Took my door off the hinges. I'm like a teenager. I need a door. Awful. Psychological warfare. So this has all been really healing. Just watching Theo get to just enjoy regular things in life and not have joy be held over his head like it's something that he should earn. When we got home, it felt like just a lot of like just I was overloaded. Like I was like so much emotion, but not in a bad way, but more so like just shit I hadn't processed. And I was like, oh, little Alyssa, that hurt. I need it. Because you don't really think about that shit when you're a teenager. When you think of little you think of little cute elementary school you, not you as a little asshole teenager. You don't think of your teenage dirtbag self, you know? You're not like, fuck, why were you skipping classes smoking cigarettes? What was that for? Because I just wanted to see Cher. I got daddy issues. When I got home, it just felt like a lot of things I needed to process. And that was a little heavy. And then my car got hit. The floodgates of daddy issues came rushing out. Um, damn. So when my car got hit, I just felt this existential dread. Obviously, nobody lives to have their car hit. And I didn't get any license plates. I couldn't see it on the cameras. Just not an ideal situation, you know? When I was a teenager, well, all growing up, my dad worked at like one of the largest Toyota dealerships in the country. He was very proud of his elite used car salesman job. So every year we would go to the car show that they would show like the next year's models that were coming out. And he would have me sit in these cars and, see how it felt if I were to drive it. In the early 2000s, not every car had all the seat controls they have now. I'm only 5 feet tall. I need to know, can I see over the dashboard? So, two times, my dad bought a car that I wanted, that I had picked out at said car show. Even down to the colors, all of it. The first one was a cherry red Toyota 4Runner. There was only like a handful of them that they made in cherry red, and he bought one. Then you were like, move the goalpost. I'll only give you the car if you do this, or if you only get these grades. Oh, now you have to get straight A's. It just never enough, you know? And he would say, well, if you lived here, you would already have a car. If I lived there, I would have the world. If I lived there, I would have gotten to go to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, what? Bro. Then the second car that he did that with was a Scion XB. It just, the list goes on. He just did this shit all the time. It was a lot to process this past week, but life moves. Yes, it sounds like a gotcha hat when I open my door because the plastic is rubbing together. It just was a lot to process that, it was never it was always about him being able to have some kind of control over the narrative and withhold things because it was my fault that he moved away. Uh, It was like him trying to transfer the guilt onto me. Totally not my thing, and it was trash. I have inner guilt about everything. Like, I just have anxiety about everything. I have inner guilt about everything. It's them goddamn daddy issues. I'm not really sure where I got cut off, but we're back to say goodbye. Let's wrap this shit up. We bonded, we healed. We apparently are an EST household. No more stands in this house. How can I? How can I ever be a stan again? How can I ever say that about myself ever again? When my son came at me with these fucking receipts and was like, bitch, you knew about this? You knew that Marshall Mathers be petty like that? Oh, yeah, I did. And you know what? My whole life, essentially, fight or flight. And I always had problem with people thinking that they could walk all over me or take advantage of me. A lot of my exes would tell me I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. One thing my ex used to say is that I should let him throw my burlesque shows and then I should just show up and do them. And I was like, no. Why are you so obsessed with taking control over things? So I really did need like aggressive bully music through a lot of my life, but maybe that's just pain I need to let go of. I don't need to be a bully anymore. I don't keep people around me who make me constantly stand up for myself. That shit's whack. So, needless to say, my kid's dope as fuck, and mothering him has been the biggest gift in my healing, to be honest. He's just a gift in my whole life. I adore him, and I love how close we got on this trip, and I look forward to going to more concerts with him. He is already trying to get me to take him to Florida specifically. I don't know why he chose Florida, but He wants to go to Florida in June to the Lost Americana tour again. We'll see if I decide to do that. I'm kind of a pushover though. So I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I have something really special for you guys. We're gonna do a new segment every Sunday called the Sunday Egg Cleanse, where we look at women who have been harmed in the system of patriarchy. And Sunday's episode is gonna be pretty nuanced. To those of you who are gonna have some issues with it and be a little squirmy about it, I totally get it, because I was too when I read this book. We're gonna give a breakdown of a book I read. I've only made it like 45% through it, and I already have so much shit to say. This will probably end up being a 2-part episode because I didn't let myself listen to the rest of the book. I didn't want to add on to what I already thought. I didn't want to poison my mind with new thoughts. I need to get out the thoughts that I have before I go forward with the book. See you guys Sunday. Bye, babes. Love you, mean it.